Hi everyone, we're going to look at performing reliability analysis in SPSS. So there's a couple of things to keep in mind when we're performing these analyses. We're using Cronbach's alpha to measure the internal consistency between the items on a scale when we do this. So we're looking to make sure that all of the questions we're asking are all similar and related to each other. So if I'm asking questions about happiness, I want them all to be related. Also, you need to make sure that when you're measuring your questions and comparing them to one another that you're not mixing up the positively and negatively worded questions. If you happen to do that, you will end up with an alpha that is negative. And we often call these, when one question is worded in a positively worded way, and then another one is worded in a negatively worded way, we call it reverse order questions. And so when you have questions that are reverse ordered, you would need to recode your variables. So in our example, we actually have an example of that. And here you can see where it says, I consider myself to be shy. If I answered 5, which is, it's a Likert scale between 1 and 5, 1 meaning you very much agree, or you very much disagree, pardon me, and 5 meaning you very much agree. If I answered 5, it means, you know, I would consider myself to be very shy. So the second question, and as well as the fourth question here, if I answered a 5 on these questions where it says I love to go to parties and be with people, well, then that is the opposite, right? So a 5 in this case means you're much more outgoing. So you would need to reverse order these questions, make your 1s 5s and your 5s 1s and so on, right? And we did that. We have, for question 2 and 4, we've recoded them. And so in order to perform a reliability analysis, you would go to Analyze, Scale, and then Reliability Analysis, and then put in your variables. Make sure you pick up the correct ones. So for our first one, we would put it in there, and then put in the second one for your recode, and then the third one in there, and the fourth one for the recode that was recoded, and then select statistics. And we want descriptives for the item, the scale, and the scale if the item is deleted. In the inter item, we want correlations, and for the summaries, we want means and correlations. And then just select continue, and then okay. All right, so you can see here the reliability analysis first box is the case processing summary, and that means it's just looking at all the questions to make sure that there's no missing data here, so that a person didn't skip a question, for example. And if someone had skipped a question, it would have excluded it, so it would have listed that here. The next one is our Cronbach's alpha measure, and for our example we have a 0.723. It's a fairly strong relationship there. And then you can see here the descriptive statistics for each item on the survey, the means, standard deviations, and the total ends. And then here we have the inter-item correlation matrix. So these are correlations. Going down diagonally, you'll notice they're all 1s, and a 1 means there's a perfect relationship for the correlation. So that actually means you are comparing one question to itself. So you can kind of think of it as the top corner here is a mirror of the bottom corner, right? And you can see that. So I consider myself to be shy compared to the recoded number 2 question is also right here. The recoded number 2 question has the same as I consider myself to be shy. So, all right, the next box. Here you can see the summary for the items. You know, the means, the minimum and maximum answered, the range, etc. And then we have the item total statistics. So in the first box, we see that each question is compared to all of the other questions all at once. So in other words, it takes question 1 and compares that score to all of the other 3 questions to combine and to see what the relationship is to them, right? So it's the corrected item total correlation. And then the other column of interest would be the last column. So it gives you what the Cronbach's alpha would be if you deleted any one of these questions. So would it give you a stronger outcome? And it helps you to decide if maybe you should keep that question or maybe remove it. Perhaps you would end up with a stronger relationship between all of the questions if you took one out, right? And so that's how you perform a reliability analysis for your surveys. All right, see you next time. Thanks for listening.